Good morning, students. Today we will study this chapter number 3 of history. The name of the chapter is Colonialism and Tribal Societies. So, as the name suggests, tribal societies, the tribal people were those who used to roam from one place to another for their livelihood, for their uh, food, for their money, for their earning, and for everything. They have to move from one place to the other. And colonialism, as we have already studied in lesson 1 and 2, it is about the Britishers' rule when it came to India and how it affected the Indian people. So in this chapter, we will study that how the colonialism affected the tribal society. So how the tribal people used to have their livelihood, let us first discuss that. So first is the cultivation of land. How they used to cultivate the land and how they used to get food out of it and they used to eat it. So first part is they practiced jhum cultivation. Jhum cultivation is shifting cultivation. So what they used to do in jhum cultivation, once they have used the land to cultivate and they used to have a small patch of forest area and they used to burn it and used that part as for their cultivation. So once that part has been cultivated, the crops have been taken out, they used to leave that part for some years to get again fertilized and again they can grow on it. So like this, they used to shift from one place to another in for cultivation, and this is known as the jhum cultivation. And this practice was mainly done in the areas of northeast and central India. Next is hunting and food gathering. How they used to hunt animals and how they used to gather food for their livelihood. So they all went for hunting in groups and whatever they used to hunt together, they used to distribute among themselves. No, one person do not eat everything. As many people used to gather together for hunting, as many people went for hunting together, they used to have the animal meat or whatever they got and they divided among themselves. And next thing that they used for food gathering was extracting of oil. Extracting means taking out oil from some special types of seeds. So at that time they used to extract oil from sal and mahua seeds. And they also acquired knowledge of medicinal herbs and shrubs. So while they used to take out oil and they were all connected with different types of plants and trees, they also acquired knowledge of medicinal herbs and shrubs, and they used to sell those herbs and shrubs, and instead they got food or the things that they need, or they used to earn money for that. Next is the labor work. How they worked as the laborers. Worked as agricultural laborers. They undertook work in district factories and mines. So they did different type of works also besides doing all this. The first one was that they worked as the agricultural laborers. Then they undertook work in district factories and mines, and they sold their goods by they were not able to send their goods on their own. So they used to give their goods to the money lenders, and the money lenders used to sell the goods at the high rates. But they did not get that rate also. They were given very less prices for their goods. And different types of taxes were imposed on them, loans were taken from them, and because of that, they were not able to earn as well as they can earn for their livelihood. Next is herding of animals. Herding means how they used to take their animals for grazing, where they used to take and how their animals used to eat food and how they changed from one place to another. So they roamed with their herds as pastorals. Means wherever they went, they used to take their herds, their cattle along with them from one place to another. And this herding process was occupied by the Gujars, the Labodis, the Bakarwals, and the Gaddis. These were the main people who used to have herding of animals. So how they used to do the herding, as they took the animals to one place, and when the pasteurization, when the grass or whatever they used to eat used to get finished from that place, they shifted their animals from one place to the other. So this is how they did the herding of animals. Next is cultivation of crops. Some tribal groups began to settle down instead of roaming. So, as the tribal groups name suggests, they used to roam from one place to another for their livelihood. But sometimes what happened, some of the tribal groups tried to settle down at one particular place. They built the houses for them. They used to permanently settle at one place. And they used to plow and cultivate their lands. So, in this way, they did the cultivation of land. In the beginning, we have learned cultivation of land, but it was a shifting cultivation, it was zone cultivation. But here it is the permanent cultivation. They made their permanent residence at one place, and they used to cultivate the crops so that they can grow again and again there only and earn more and more money. Now next is change in the life of tribals after colonialism. So before colonialism they were free to do everything, but after colonialism their life changed a lot. So what type of political impact does it have? Tribal chiefs were deprived of their independence. So the people, those who were made the chiefs of the tribals, were now no more chiefs of the tribals. They had to work according to the rules of the Britishers. They had to work under the Britishers. They had to work as the laborers. They were no more chiefs. And the tensions and the conflicts arose among those tribals. So the political impact had a bad impact on them. Because of it, tensions and conflicts arose among the tribals. Next is economic impact, reduced to the rank of laborers. So what type of economic impact does the colonialism had? It reduced the tribal people from the chieftains to the rank of laborers. Britishers introduced land settlements in forests. So they introduced the land settlements. According to them, the lands were fixed. They were and now the tribal people cannot go from one place to other on their own. They had to take the permission of the Britishers, and then the Britishers declared large number of forest land as reserve zones. Reserve zone means that this area is belonging to the state, and the state will only cultivate and work on it. The tribals were not allowed to enter that area. So what happened with this economic impact, that it revolted against the Britishers in 1906. That revolt is known as Sangama Revolt, and in 1930 Forest Satyagraha revolt was taken against this step of Britishers to make themselves free from what they were earlier to now what they have changed. So after all this, tea and mining opened new jobs, new way of earning to the tribal people. Next is the other social impact. How this affected socially on the tribal people. Some were well settled, some became chiefs, and some were laborers. So it affected socially as it divided them. Some became well settled people, some became the chiefs, and some were still the laborers under the Britishers. And then the Christian missionaries came and they started to educate them. Then with all these effects, at least 70 tribal revolts from the year 1778 till the year 1947 took place by the tribal society, so that they can get back their independence, so that they can get back what they were earlier. So they had to fight at least, revolts me, they had to fight at least 70 times to get back their independence. So this is the first part of the lesson number 3, colonialism and tribal societies. In this, we have studied how the tribal peoples used to live their livelihood, and what all changes in the life of tribals came after the colonialism came to the country. In the next part, we will study what type of revolts took place in this after the colonialism came, who all were involved in different types of revolts against the Britishers.